everybody. How's everybody doing on this fantastic Thursday morning? We just knocked a trade out the park on Bitcoin. Unfortunately, I was not able to go live when the trade setup happened. We were watching initial jobless claims this morning. We came in hot. Right there. 211K, 195K was forecasted. Why is this good news? Or why is the market taking this as good news? Well, a higher than forecasted number is bearish. Is usually bearish for the dollar. That means more people, or initially, it measures the number of individuals who filed for unemployment. So, starting to see that uptick in jobless claims, which is what the Fed wants to see. I mean, they are, after all, if you listen to the two last live streams we had trying to cause unemployment, if you listen to the government, that's not what he's trying to do at all. He's trying to get inflation under control as they spend too much money. We just basically bought it at daily support, took profits at weekly support, as that's an area where sellers may show back up. And there wasn't enough time to get the live stream up and running by then. So there we have it. We got long here inside the community right there. If I break this down, you can see we got this. This was the actual newsprint. Came out at 8:30 in the morning. We got 1 5-minute retest. That was the opportunity to get long. This was our profit target. As you can see, that is successful. That is also the operating range. Unfortunately, it's a very tiny range, and I understand that. When we take these types of day trades, we're not looking to get rich. We want small, consistent wins, because over time, they build up. I wasn't even going to go live this morning, and Michelle told me to get my ass up and work. And of course, I do not have pajamas on. We trade no pants, no shirt, no shoes, and no problem around here. This is Florida. No shirt, no shoes, no problem. So we don't deal with it. I'm not going to put on a suit, and not at least until I buy a webcam, and I don't even know if I'm going to get one. We'll see about that in the future. But anyways, moving on, weekly support is right there at 21,789. That's the reason why we took profits there. Excuse me. Give me 1 second to get myself together here. Losing my already destroyed voice. All right, here we go. So weekly support was the reason we took profits there. You can see that you've already tested it, but that was yesterday. Well, no, it wasn't. It was today. I thought it was yesterday. Nope, we tested it. We tested it during the Asian session. I'll show you that real quick right there. That is weekly support. So we've broken down yesterday with the Fed testimony. You can see that you broke down, closed the daily under it. That typically means that you're looking for downside continuation. The previous day, when we got the first day of testimony, we took out daily support. So this is your expansion down to the lower range, or the lower area of support. All right, that's how price action works. You make support, you hold, or you break out above resistance. So far, Bitcoin's been trending lower. All right. That's a pretty much perfect measured move as well, if you look at it. So if you look at from swing high to swing low, consider this your corrective phase from this swing low to that swing high, and then this push lower. It's a pretty good measured move. So Bitcoin might find support here. We'll see. It's all in how the market takes that news. We know typically the way the market should react to news, but that's not always the way it works, right? All right. So there we go. Basically what we're going to be watching for the next day or two. Today's Thursday, so the weekly range is pretty much set. You got your weekly high in, more than likely. So it's all going to be dependent on where we close out this week, Sunday. If we close above weekly support, that obviously would be good, but it's not great because you completely take away this bullish candle. And in my experience, that's not really a great sign. It could mean that there is a deeper correction on its way. And we're okay with that. We're not buying every single time we get to support. In fact, we took a short earlier this week. So, I mean, day to day trading gives you the ability to move in inside and outside of these daily ranges. It's fantastic. It's a way to generate alpha while you're just sitting by waiting on the next big trend to reveal itself. You got people sitting on the sidelines right now not knowing what to do, right? Nobody knows what to do. The street has never been more mixed than it is right now. We've never seen conditions that we have right now. Everything that is going on is new. So everybody has a different take, a different macro outlook. You got some people claiming that this is definitely just a bear market rally. You got other people saying that you clearly started a bull market. So where are we? We're probably going to bounce sideways for the rest of the year. I wouldn't doubt it at all if this thing trades sideways all year long. This and risk assets getting a slight bit off of the initial jobless claim numbers. You can see that we're setting roughly about a 0.5% on the Dow and SPX. Meanwhile, the NASDAQ is up 0.75. So, I mean, it's not a big day. Usually not a huge news event. It's just right now the market is taking each one of these news events day by day and, you know, doing whatever it wants to do. I think that we're headed for the February low. That's the next target to the downside. Not sure if you're going to hit it or not, but you got to keep that under. You at least have to be aware where it is. That way, you know that there is a risk for that to occur. We were looking for a deeper correction. We are getting it. It's as simple as that. And deeper corrections are okay. All right, so that's the wrong indicator. Let me do this. All right. So usually the way I take care of things on the day trading side is if we're under the 21 closing dailies, then I look for downside trades unless we get to a significant level where I suspect we could get a bounce or like today trading a news event. I typically look to be on the sell side. But if the weekly is trending above the 21, then overall I am bullish. So I am looking for support to be found It's just, as you can see, this is the last area for Bitcoin to find support until you get down to this swing right there. So $20,000 could be the next area of support if we do in fact lose the 21 and weekly support. Take out February's low, then the next area to look for potential support would be right there at $20,900. That is, of course, where FTX collapse happened. So it is a good area to look for this thing to bounce and continue higher if it wants to go higher, of course. Risk markets do not look great. I do love the fact, though, that even though we were trading under that 21 again this week, we are bouncing. So you're getting a bigger bounce off of the initial jobless claims on risk than you are on Bitcoin. On Bitcoin, you're just break even on the day, right? You're pulling back to the open. Which is right there. Would I buy that now at 9:52 in the morning? No, I would not. Right? We were looking for this volatile expansion or volatility expansion. That is your daily range expansion. You created a new daily high because this is your opening candle. That's your high day candle there. So you took that out, and you can see what kind of reaction you've gotten there, right? Sellers look to sell pops in downtrends. So any pop in price, any rally you get, sellers will sell into it. You have people that are underwater, meaning their trade is losing money, like anybody that bought up here. So these pops give them the ability to exit their position with a slightly smaller loss. That's why you get existing sell side pressure on pops. Apologies this morning. I just woke up. My girl, she has a really bad habit of, if I miss my alarm clock, she does not wake me up. She thinks that if I don't get up for the alarm clock, then obviously I need more sleep. And since the couple stints in the hospital, she's pretty much made that a rule. So I'm just now getting up. Unfortunately, I'm still working out the kinks. It takes me a little while to get up, get moving about. I haven't had a walk yet or anything, so just bear with me, if you will. But yeah, it doesn't look great, obviously, but we're still in a consolidation range, which is what we want to see. We want to see Bitcoin maintain this 21 exponential on a weekly closing basis. The reason for that is because this is the trend. If you break down below that, your trend then becomes a little less likely, or a little less, how do I say this? It becomes a little more difficult to keep that buy the dip mentality, right? And that's what we want investors to have. We want the sentiment to be buy the dip. Once the sentiment goes away, the buy the dip sentiment goes away, then the sellers pretty much get free reign on the marketplace, and we could see new lows. I don't think we will, though. I think your low is in, based on the amount of volatility that we got off the bottom, the market breadth, if you will. That move was intense. It was an immediate repricing right back to the FTX collapse. So I think your low is in, but obviously I don't know that it is in, right? So we have to control the amount of money that we are willing to lose when we decide to take a directional bias or a directionally biased position. You could be delta neutral. You could trade delta neutral strategies in this environment. What I mean by that is you can sell calls above 24,751. You can sell puts below 15,589. You're not going to make a whole lot of money with that wide of a range, but depending on the time, the time decay and all that, or how far out you look, it's going to be a pretty damn profitable strategy for a while, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's probably what you want to do. Sell options. If you have the margin to do that. If you don't have the margin to do that, then you can only take directionally biased positions. So, what I suggest you do is follow the daily trend. If you are looking to take intra-week trades as of right now until support is clearly found or until you get back above the 50 on the RSI, you want to look to sell into resistance. So any push up into a resistance area, you don't necessarily take the first tag of resistance. You wait for resistance to reveal itself as it clearly did here, and then you sell into that. What I mean by that is this. You can see how this day closed. It was the last green up close day that you got. Then the next day closed as a doji. So on this day here, on the push up, you would have been looking to sell if you got back under resistance, because you've already had one day show you the inability to close above that area. And sometimes you're going to be wrong. That is why you manage risk. So take this for example. You clearly have resistance there. You clearly have this day showing you an inability for the marketplace to close above. So on this day, had you taken the trade at resistance to the short side, you would have made money as long as you took profits on the move lower and moved your stop to break even. The next day, you would have been stopped out. So on this day, since this bullish occurrence happened and we were still above the 21, everybody, bots and algos, position themselves long on this day. Right here. This is the trap, right? And you can see how big the expansion was lower. The reason this candle is so much bigger than the rest is because of the long liquidations. Here. Let me pull up Glassnode real quick. Over here on the other monitor, I'll show you those liquidations. Oh wow, I just pulled it up and I'm logged in. That's never awesome. All right, so there you go. Here is that rapid expansion lower. This is your daily push. And then look at the long liquidations, right? That's what causes expansion. Always, whether it's to the short side or the long side. So what I mean by that is the reason you have this massive candle is because this was a lot of short liquidating. A lot of it, right? It's not real demand. It's just a liquidation candle. Real demand looks like this. Boom. That's real demand. This is liquidations. But even though, you know what I mean? Even though we're still pushing down, if you look at that, that doesn't look terrible. You gave back this swing high, and I know the fractal guys out there are all pulling fractals off from this freaking high up here, saying, "Yep, yep. You see, we did the same thing here. You made a high, a higher high, just like this. So naturally, that means we're gonna do something like." This. Booyah. Negative $5,000. Negative 50 G's, baby. No, it's not gonna happen. Right? Your lows are probably in, guys. Your lows are probably in. The initial jobless claims today is a good data point, as this is the first sign, the actual first sign. Well, that and the fact that inflation is trending lower, that what the Fed is doing is starting to work. That is why the market is having a good day today, right? So keep that in mind. The market's going to be news driven. That means it's going to be very choppy. It's going to be difficult for novices to be able to manage their way through these markets. And no matter how drunk I sound to you right now, you should hit the subscribe button so that way you can stay on the right side of the trade. I am not drunk. Not yet. I am enjoying a nice warm cup of coffee. What's up, everybody? Are jobless claims a good indication for non-farm? It no, not really. We've seen lower initial jobless claims before and higher in FP. There's really nothing that can tell you what NFP is going to bring. Uh, some people think it is, but like I said, it's really not. It's just an initial jobless claims. You can read right here. Excuse me. I apologize, guys. I am losing my voice. It's people who file for unemployment, right? Insurance for the first time during the past week. This is the earliest U.S. economic data, but the market impact varies from week to week. So I mean, just it doesn't. And non-farm is a monthly number, and we'll get that next month. We've already had non-farm payrolls. We had that last Friday. So you got a long ways to go before you get to non-farm payrolls. But the number we got, obviously, it was a shock. Last non-farm payrolls number was a shock, but it's around 200K is expected for the next one. So we're not looking for a big number like we got last time. Uh, I posted a video that I would love for you guys to go watch because he goes into really good detail about how the tech sector works. and those higher paying jobs, like everybody that works for Google, and they're just now starting to do layoffs to the tech sector is. And those people make a lot more money than, say, like your local barista at Starbucks. So the reason he thinks that we're seeing a lag in in unemployment or initial jobless claims is simple. He thinks that those people can, last longer looking for a new job. Therefore, they're not signing up for benefits. And basically, this is people that are signing up for benefits. Your people that live from week to week or paycheck to paycheck, those are going to be the ones that are going to be needing to go run straight to the unemployment department. Whereas your higher paying jobs, you got someone that's making 250 grand a year writing code. They're going to be a lot better off for a lot longer. So he thinks that there's going to be a lag on the jobs number until once those people, if they have trouble finding jobs, then you'll start to see that spike in unemployment. So therefore, the recession may still be right around the corner. It's just difficult to predict because of that. And then since the pandemic, you have people that started to work from home. Those people also, like, maybe they don't have to go back to work, right? Maybe they don't have to go back to work. Maybe they figured out a way from home to stay working at home. So obviously those people aren't going to go back to the job world if they don't have to. So we have a lot of different dynamics at play right now in the marketplace, something that we've never seen or experienced before. You got more and more people trying to be creators, and sell courses on things they know how to do. All those people, they're going to be coming straight out of the job market. They're not going to be looking for work because they're, working from home. This is the first sign that we've gotten, though, that we are starting to see that tight labor market loosen up a bit, which usually the market wouldn't say that that's good. You know what I mean? That's just the times we live in. Like, usually this would be bearish because high unemployment is not good for the economy. Low unemployment is good for the economy. But they're trying to basically break the economy because the government spends too much money. So we have high inflation right now, and all the politicians that you heard grilling Mr. Powell yesterday talking about how he's forcefully trying to hurt people by making them unemployed. He's literally not. He's using the only tools that he has at hand to fight inflation. And unfortunately it's going to cause problems. But he didn't, he's not the one to blame for the inflation. They are, right? They are. Dude, these people since '08, like, they spend $1 trillion now. They write up bills for, I can remember the first bill ever was for $800 billion. And I'm not a right-wing Nazi, but Glenn Beck did an amazing piece on this one day. I don't listen to Glenn Beck, but I am a money guy, so this piece was interesting to me because it basically put into perspective how much money $700 billion was. And essentially, like, if you do that in $100 bills, it would take like 47 train cars of cash. That's how much $700 billion is. Like, it's insane the amount of money that the government spends these days, and they just think everything's going to be fine when they have all of history to look back on to know that it never works out like that. You cannot print your own money and it be sustainable forever. America used to be a producing company. I mean, a producing country. Now we are a consumer based country. So everything is based on debt. And if everybody defaults on that debt, this country is going to be in shambles, to say the very least. Very least. It was much better when the government's dollar was backed by gold, for sure. That is, after all, how we became the world reserved currency, because we had more gold than anybody else. And our dollar was backed by that gold. Now our dollar is backed by debt. But we're not going to get into a money lesson. What money is. There's too many people on the internet that's already done that, and they're far smarter and much better sounding, and probably even, well, I'm not going to go as far as say better looking, because I am a handsome individual. Let's go take a look at the dollar, see what it's doing today. You can see it had a very, very big day the first time that Powell spoke. I mean, that looks to me like a breakout. It looks like a legit breakout. Can that be a trap? It can be. Is it likely to be? I don't think so. But we'll see. Typically, when you make higher high after higher high after higher high, you're trending, right? You can see here on the near term, the dollar is trending up. When I say near term, I mean the daily time frame. You are trending to the upside. Here on the weekly time frame, you are almost trending to the upside. This week's close is going to be vital. You have already closed above resistance. You had a pullback last week. This week, you've already put in fresh highs. So, yeah, technically, this could still be a bull trap. But if it is, next week, we better see some heavy sell side pressure. If we don't see that, then you're probably going to see more downside on risk. That is if risk keeps its negative correlation to the dollar right now. It's still not like in the realm of completely busted and we're looking for new highs. Obviously, if you fib this leg right here, this down expansion, you can see that you can trade all the way up into here before you actually start to find resistance. But I'm not going to lose all of that unrealized P&L hoping for that, right? Because I'm short the dollar up here. I am, depending on if we close above resistance or not this week, will dictate how I manage that dollar short position. If we close above resistance, I am likely going to Monday take half or a little bit more than half of the unrealized profits that I have on the dollar short and move the stop loss down lower probably to around this support here. So the midpoint of this breakdown candle. Now, you inefficiency traders out there are going to say that, the dollar could trade all the way back up to there, and it is possible. But if we're trading back at $109, there's nothing to say that 114 is out of range, right? Because at that point, you will have shifted in the macro trend. So we just want to stay aware of where we currently are. You can see how Bitcoin is struggling there at that area of resistance. Struggling. That's why I was so adamant about telling you guys in the Discord to take profits. Small, consistent wins. That's how you do this. Base hits. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Fute Ledges. Good morning to all of my Fute Ledges. Negative 50 G's is punishing. Yeah, it's actually impossible. It's impossible to happen. The reason you could get negative numbers on oil was its futures contracts, right? The front month contract ran into negative numbers. You're not going to be able to do that on Bitcoin, unfortunately. Oil, I mean, if I didn't say oil, right? Which was the best. If you were able to buy oil in negative territory, you just like literally made the best trade of anybody's career. I'm not sure if you were able to do that though. I'm not sure if any exchange or brokerage would allow you to buy at negative numbers, because every single cent above where you purchased would literally be a 100% gain. But you could have bought oil really, really cheap. Oil's not going anywhere for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. Long time. Oil is going to be here for at least the next 50 years. There's no way you can convert everybody to electricity that quickly. I mean, you got to think everything runs on oil. Everything from tanker cargo ships, you got trains, trucks, automobiles, everything runs on oil. It's the lifeblood of any economy. Also, let me say this and I'll be done, because it's kind of revealing. But do you realize how many people you will put out of work if you made oil or fossil fuels illegal? Billions. Not millions. Billions. There's probably 2 billion people that work in the oil field somewhere. Whether they're working at gas stations or drilling oil or hauling oil or whatever. There's not enough green jobs in the world to cover all the people that are going to go unemployment when you shift from greenhouse gases to electricity. It's going to be a rough transition. I'll just say that. But oil bounced right off of that yearly opening range as if, the yearly opening range matters. There's your yearly opening range. Tell me that wasn't a good place to short. Tell me that wasn't a good place to short. I'm telling you, these objective levels work. Learn them, use them, change the way you trade, become consistent in the way you trade, and your life will get so much easier. We already made money today. We made money the last 2 days. We're done for the week. We're 3 for 3 on Bitcoin positions this week. Doing the damn thing. And it does look like they're trying to sell it back off at weekly support. Old support can become resistance. It doesn't always, but sometimes it does. So you're back to being red on the day. As long as you're under the daily 21, people are going to be looking to sell it. All right. So look to sell swing highs. That's the better trade, as you're more likely to get continuation when you're taking trades in the direction of the near-term trend. You're less likely to get continuation on buying support when there is heavier sell side in the marketplace. I'd get a microchip if it had the option to regrow hair and stop nails from growing longer. Higher for longer. Few ledges. Yes, you are. All of you. Can you have a look at XRP? Absolutely. I am here for you, my friend. I am here for you. I don't know if you have a specific exchange you want me to look at it on. So we'll take the top one, which is Bitstamp. Yeah, we kind of knew this thing wasn't going to do anything after that pop to the upside, and then it got faded, right? And it's been sideways ever since. It did have a nice pop, but FTX screwed it up. If the Bitcoin low is in, then you could say that there's a pretty good chance XRP's low is in, as the same people that make the markets for Bitcoin make the markets for a lot of these other crypto assets. Therefore, they look very similar and they do very similar things to Bitcoin, right? But you're into resistance right now. You're into resistance. So is this a sell trade? Well, Bitcoin is on the lows for the last how many days in a row? All right, so here's your daily on Bitcoin. There's your daily chart on XRP. So obviously it's doing something different. If Bitcoin breaks down and gets downside continuation, I would be looking to short this. I don't know that I would short it now because Bitcoin can find support here. So if Bitcoin finds support here, that will help put a bid under XRP and you're likely to see it break out. But you got a ton of resistance ahead of you. On the near term, you're above the 21, so you're above the 50. But I wouldn't be buying it where it is. I would need a pullback to an old resistance or a pullback to support before looking to be a buyer. So if XRP is going to have bullish continuation, I would want to see that happen here at 38,363. If you lose that, then I would flip right back around to being bearish on it. It's hard for me to think or imagine that XRP is stronger than the dollar right now. I mean, obviously it is because you got 3 green candles in a row. So this Sunday, every Sunday, I do a live stream for the channel members and Patreons at the $5 level and up, right? Every Sunday. And basically what I cover in that live stream is what I'm looking for to unfold for the week ahead. And I also look for, trading positions on that day. If there is a trade to take on that day, we will take it. But one of the assets that I told my members to watch was SNX, and I liked it for the short. Give me just a second. Let the blower guy go away. I don't know if you guys can hear him or not, but he's very annoying. I live in Florida, so grass grows year round down here. And my next door neighbor also happens to be a small engine repair shop. So you're gonna hear a lot of mowers and blowers occasionally. I don't remember exactly where it was. Let me pull this up real quick. Just bear with me. I mean, YouTube throwing commercials on everything. Up 8%. All right, so right here, SNX has been doing really good. This is Sunday's live stream that I did for the channel members. I don't know what's going on. I wonder what's going on with this thing. I just want to show you basically, like, I'm not trying to sell you on becoming a member. I just want to show you, like, prove to you that we were looking to if Bitcoin sell. Continues to run lower, this would be one of my favorites to short. So I said if Bitcoin continues to run lower, this was done on Sunday. All right, Sunday. So you can see right there, streamed 3 days ago. Yeah, this thing's up over 100% from the lows. So Bitcoin continues to roll over and still might end up taking a short on this. If this thing fails and closes today under daily res, I might be looking for a short on this. All right, and then here we are. There's daily res. So this level is right there. But remember, when you close above, you move up, right? You bring your resistance up. And then you start to watch for failures at resistance. So the short trade would have definitely been right in there. And you can see how it played out here. Let me get rid of the 21. So this is the level that I'm watching right here. There's your breakdown right there. Boom. Right here is your entry. See that? Why is that the entry? That's daily resistance. You broke down. Now, it's not going to work all of the time. I have to make that clear. But if you're risking, where's your risk going to be? For me, it was just simply right above this. That's the highest close. So you can set up a swing trade. Right there. So on the breakdown, boom, short entry. You hit your profit target quickly. And this is where it is now. See that? All of this unrealized profit is more than you made there. That's the trades right there that I'm trying to get people in when I'm looking for positions. It's these kinds of trades. Now, the only reason this thing worked so good is because Bitcoin did exactly what I said. If it continues to break down and roll over, then I liked it. Well, there's something similar in play right now with XRP. You see what I'm saying? XRP has been bullish the last 3 days, and Bitcoin has been bearish. So now you wouldn't be looking for a monster breakdown. I'm not looking for XRP to go to zero, right? I'm just saying, if I was looking, I can't trade XR. Well, I can actually on Bitget. So never mind. Scratch what I was just about to say. But Coinbase users can't trade this, but I can on Bitget. If this thing fails at resistance another day, it will go on the watch list for a short. It will go on the watch list for a short. And I will be looking for a downside target of 38,363 at the very minimum. Right there. So I don't suggest getting long here, but if you think it's going to go higher, this is the first area to look for potential support. And remember, let price show you that it is support first. So it can take a couple days for support to build in. Once you build in support or show the inability to close dailies under a specific area, that's where you would look to be the buyer. Now, on as a whole, XRP roughly is still lagging. It's only up 35%, whereas Bitcoin was up, damn near 50% before it rolled over. This move right here was based on the trial, this volatility, or the hearing, or whatever, when they went to court, right? I'm not an XRP guy, so I don't follow the news on it. And I'm just a technical analyst, but this looks like a failed breakout to me. And now you're range bound. So before I would even be interested in looking to buy it, which I mean, technically you can be a buyer on it. You just got to wait for support. The near term, you're above the 21, so it would need to find support. If it finds support there, then I could still see, the potential to be a buyer on it, but it's sideways AF. It is sideways AF. So you're looking to just trade the range. You have a pretty large operating range right there. and you're in the middle of it. So, yeah, I mean, it looks good so far, but depending on where it closes out the week would determine what I look to do next. Now, another area you could watch for potential support would put you under the daily and weekly 21 exponential, but still it is a legitimate area to look for support, is 37,792. So 37,792. And that's weekly resistance. So I'll leave it up to you whether you watch weekly resistance or daily resistance, since they're pretty close to each other. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta grab something. All right. So, yeah, that's what I would do on XRP, my friend. Germany is doing that. XRP needs to win their case in court. I agree. No oil heating from next year on. No gas powered cars in 2030. Yeah, Frank, that's the goal. And I understand, like, I one thing that you will rarely hear on this channel is political rants or political banter, because I'm not a political guy, right? I don't give a shit who's running the country as long as they're not directly affecting my life. If they are directly affecting my life, that's when they become a problem for me. So I can see both sides. I guess you would call me a guy that sits right in the middle, essentially. I don't mind the whole world being electric at all. I see no problem with it. Where I see the problem is the transition. And you are not going to be able to transition from oil to electric by 2030. It is impossible. Impossible. 7 years. Tesla and every other car company in the world cannot make enough electric vehicles in 7 years to do just America, right? Just America. They can't build them quick enough. And like I said, you're going to put a lot of people out of work once you make fossil fuels illegal. Where are you going to put those people? Right? Where are you going to put them? You're not going to make enough. There's not enough green jobs to fill that void. There are a lot of people that work, and the reason they have a job is because of oil. It's never going to happen. You got lawyers for the oil companies that will fight tooth and nail. At the very least, they could tie it up in court for the next 20 years. Right? So if you want the whole world to be oil free, my guess would be 50 years it'd be possible, but not 7. No effing way. And the guy in California thinks that he's going to have his state oil free by 2025. That dude is dreaming. He is out there in left field, way out there. Right? That is one of the most ambitious plays I've ever even heard a governor try to do. Not for the fact, I mean, like I said, I have no problem with it. I don't care. I'll just go buy a freaking Tesla. Which I don't live in California. I live in Florida. But if I did, I have no problem with driving a Tesla. I'm not going to go buy one just for the sake of buying one. If it becomes a law, then I'll buy one. As of right now, I like having my privacy. Something you don't get in a Tesla. Privacy. What do they got? Like 30 cameras on them? They're recording everything. 24/7. Your car is recording you, uploading you. Yeah. I like my privacy. And I like being able to fix my own stuff, right? I can't fix a Tesla. If a Tesla breaks, you got to take it to Tesla. Whereas if my truck breaks, I can go out there, put a jack under it, crawl under it, grab my tools, and get to work. That's why I keep it. I own it. I don't have any debt on it. It's mine. The title is sitting right there. It's mine. I can fix it when it breaks. It's fuel efficient. It's simple. The tires for my truck I can get for $100 a piece. Like, come on. People love to live outside of their means, and that's the reason why this country's broke. That's the reason why most people are broke. They have a spending problem. They live outside of their means. I'm blessed because my father was super poor. Like his they lived on a farm. You know what I mean? They grew their own vegetables. They raised their own food. Like back in those days, people had kids because it was free labor. Hey, my dad has like 14 brothers and sisters. It's like, why would you want that many kids? And then I'm like, oh, you lived on a farm. I see. Right. You grew everything. You had a lot of work to do just to survive. They had a lot of kids back in the old days, guys, to survive. You younger kids don't even understand what it's like to live without a cell phone. You guys are so screwed if something bad happens. Oh my God. Where are we going to get our pizza from? No Grubhub. What? It's so funny how fast things have changed. I love technology. I grew up right on the brink of it, right? The cusp of it. I remember getting my Nintendo when I was a kid for Christmas. It was the happiest day of my life. I got my Nintendo and Super Mario Brothers. Loved it. Pager first came out. Yes, sir. I had one of those. Sporting my pager. Then when I had to do it for work and it was mandatory, I hated it. No matter where you are in the world, you get service with one of them things. Yeah. And to be able to do what I do now, today. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Technology is an amazing thing, but one thing it does is make people lazy. Wait, let me see here. Let me go back. Heath, how about the atom? Are we going to break down below 10 intraday? Let's go look at it. Ooh, it looks like it, man. I don't know what that 1032 line is. Ignore that. Yeah, Adam's I mean, it's having a little bit of difficulty, isn't it? This is one of my favorite altcoins. I do believe that one of these days this thing could be trading for $100 as long as they stay on the same path that they're on now, right? What they're planning to do, if it works out in the future, I could see this thing being worth $100 easy. But it does right now look like it's struggling. You've broken down on the near term and the longer term here. But you're coming into an area of potential support. It's resistance, it's not support, but it may turn into support. So watch this area here. I wouldn't be looking for fresh shorts on it since you're down 3 weeks, unless you get a pullback like to last week's low or to this week's open. Then you can look for, intraday shorts. But I wouldn't be looking to short it down here where it is, right? Because the short trade has already happened. You can see that, right? Like the short trade there's your breakdown. That's a false breakout right there. You break out and you immediately break down. Then what happens? You go up, you test resistance, and you failed. That is your short entry. Not here. You see what I'm saying? So if this is going to be your long-term operating range for Atom, you could look for something like this to play out. Right? Till you break either down or out. That's your range. Um, You're still above the yearly open, which is good. Let's go get the yearly open so we know. Let's not guesstimate it. We want to know exactly where it opened. All right, so there's your yearly open on Atom. I'd be a buyer there, but and let's fib the range, right? Let's just fib this range. You've broken down, man. I mean, it doesn't look great, but there is potential for support coming up. So I wouldn't be looking to be a seller on it. I'd be looking to be a buyer on it for at least a bounce. Bitcoin has pulled back to our entry, and I was just taken out of the trade. So that's why we take profits, guys. That is why we take profits. I mean, that stopped me out. My entry was right at daily support. It could still bounce from here. I might have should have left my stop loss lower, but let's see if daily support can hold moving forward. This will be the price to watch on Bitcoin for the next several days. 21,628. 21,628. Do you ever trade LTFs? I'm fairly new to trading and find the LTF difficult to analyze. No, I don't even know what that means. I see the setups much better on, lower time frames, I'm assuming. Yeah, I do. Absolutely, man. I'm a day trader. You're gonna have trouble. I do what's called a top-down analysis. I look where it is in the long term. I look what the macro trend is doing, and I try to position myself on the day trades in that direction. But yeah, lower time frames. I think the lowest you should go is an hourly, but some people just can't do it. They gotta be looking at 1 to 5 minute charts. And 1 to 5 minute charts are gonna really put a beating on you. At least until you understand the overall dynamics of a candlestick, how it actually works, what it's doing, right? Once you understand the underlying concept of what a candlestick actually is, then you can begin to notice where those higher probable entries are. Like daily support here. You can see how that 5 minute candle traded right into it and bounced. There are traders out there, tick traders that trade futures, that as long as not in crypto, obviously the fees are too expensive to be a tick trader, but there are people that just, that's what they do. They wait for that, boom, they buy it. And as soon as price gets within, 1 or 2 ticks away from their entry, they exit. And they'll do that, 300-400 times a day. You can't do that in crypto because just entering the position puts you at a disadvantage immediately. Right? I was playing around with Bitget the other day, and if you take trades at 50x leverage and higher, you need almost a 20% win just to break even. Think about that. You need a 20% win just to break even. That's ridiculous. Now, it's easy to get a 20% win if you're on the right side of the market, because if you got that much leverage, you literally don't need price to go very far in order to be up 20%. But the same is to be said against you as well. You do not need a very big move at all for that 50x to crush your account. And if you need a 20% gain just to break even, that means you can expect a 20% loss, even if you just enter and exit the position. But like on Forex, places where you can get, good rates, you can be a tick trader on just these levels alone. But yeah, I trade on lower time frames. I look at all time frames from the year all the way down to the 5 minute. I don't go no lower than 5 minute. My favorite chart, my favorite time frame to trade and take entries is the hourly. On the hourly, I can see the whole day, the whole day's range. Right there, right? That's the daily open. There's your daily high. There's your daily low. You're literally in the middle of the daily range. You can see it clear as day. Also, hourly candles do a really good job of showing where support and where resistance is for the day. Right? We took a counter trend trade this morning. Right there. We took profits right there. Some people think that it's amazing. Like, I knew that was going to happen because of how perfectly it worked out. But I didn't know it was going to work. I just knew this is the operating range. This is where the high probability move is, whether you're a buyer or a seller. Right? That's what you need to learn. Once you understand that, you're going to make much better trades. There's a fantastic book called False Alarm, which speaks to how crazy it would be to go to 100% electric within 10 years. Yeah, it's not going to happen. I just with my little dead brain cells, right, can see that, yeah, it's physically impossible to go 100% electric in 10 years. Universal basic income is likely the only way those put out of work in the coming years will be able to support themselves in an increasingly digitized economy than hyperinflation. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but can any government in the world right now do that? Literally. How long is your government going to be a government? You would have to be like the biggest dictator in the world in order to do that. You would have to conquer the entire world and take all of the world's resources in order to pay everybody. But they would all be in the military also. Like, that would be your job. We need to mine a hell of a lot more precious metals on rare earth metals if we're going to go electric for sure. Yeah, you're going to need a lot of batteries. We need electric, better yet, nuclear, but we need to gradually transition. Yeah, it's going to take time, man. Could you check USD ruble, please? Yeah. Somebody else was talking about the ruble yesterday, and I can't remember who. I watched so many damn ICE, so obviously it's wrong. It's RUBUSD. No, it's not USD RUB. I can't even trade it. This has gotta be wrong. That's on the hourly, man. This can't be right. You mean to tell me there's like a 1.4% spread on this? This is the most disgusting asset I've ever seen in my life. I wouldn't be trading it. It takes 75 rubles to equal $1. That's not great. USDRUB. That's what I got. Let me look on a different one. See, notice you can't trade this on, like, I've never even heard of any of these exchanges. You don't see the normals. Oanda, Forex.com, FXCM, none of those. Yeah, I don't know, man. I can't analyze that, unfortunately. Support and resistance isn't going to work on this because some of these are daily time frames that just the opening tick is just so spready. When your hourlies look like this, that's volatile. Like, that's terrible. That means like one or two, maybe even three trades goes through. That's over a percent move. 1.32% to the downside in 1 hour. Look at that. one transaction occurred up there, then the next transaction was there. That's where your market makers are. Boom, and then boom. So if you got filled on that order, you instantly lost almost 0.2%. It's disgusting. Stay away from it. I mean, if you live in Russia, then I'm sorry for you. I mean, I just am. It is what it is. That's bad. That's government. That's government for you. That's what they'll do for you right there. Illiquid market. You got to trade liquid markets, not illiquid markets. I can't analyze an illiquid market. I'm sorry, Eli. Can we look at Bitcoin on longer time frame, weekly, 2 week, even quarter? It's near putting low on lower low on a daily. Yeah, of course. I mean, we still look good on the quarter and on the year. The quarter looks great, right? Still looks really good. As long as we're above that area right there, I like it. The problem that I have with this chart is obviously that the fact that we liquidated that quarterly high and rejected. So what I'm hoping happens is it finds support here. Or here. If you don't, then yeah, you could be retesting the yearly open. Because there's nothing left to liquidate on the 3 month chart until all the way up there. Which we knew that. You know what I mean? We knew that. We already knew that. RUBUSD. Yeah, that's a crypto. Oh, no, it's not. That looks a little better. No, it doesn't. It still looks like that, man. I'm not purposely trying to misgender you if you're not a man. Man is just a term of endearment. But yeah, I can't there's I can't analyze price on this. It's illiquid. You don't want to see just random ticks on an hourly chart like that. And you got Finex. That's ICE is the only one that you can even trade this thing on. So that's the exchange. Lower, it's gonna go lower. You can see when it was liquid, more liquid. It's never really been liquid, but it used to be a lot more liquid than it is now. Now there's zero liquidity in it. Mainly because of sanctions, I'm sure. Like market makers are not allowed to do business with them, I guess. So just whatever market makers that operate inside of Russia. But there's no technical analysis for this. You can try to be a seller at resistance, wait for the wick. I don't know what to tell you. When the candles start getting really small like this down at the lows, you got to be careful because you can get a big spike like that to the upside. So be careful, but lower is where it looks like it's going over time. Yeah, leverage can hurt if you don't know what you're doing, for sure. You look for setups in the hourly and enter on the 5 minute. I don't have I do the 5 minutes sometimes just to flex, right? Or because I know that a lot of people like an hourly time frame is too long for them, right? You'd be surprised at how many people will leave the video just because I'm looking at the hourly chart and not the 5 minute. Because they want to look at a 10-second chart. You you're never gonna go very far doing that. There's just too much volatility on the intraday time frame to do that. To look at every single tick. I mean, just looking at a minute to me is insane. Is there an edge in it? Maybe. But like I said, in crypto, you can't really do like what you can do in stocks, right? Because of the fees. The fee structure is just too bad still. Once we got more competitors out there, once there's more adoption, it'll get better, hopefully, eventually. But as of right now, Bitget is the exchange that offers the lowest fees. And unfortunately, thanks to FTX, Bitget's not doing business in America anymore. If you don't live in America, you can use the link in the description and sign up for Bitget. They have the cheapest exchange rates than anybody. And it's also cheaper if you're using limit orders. I mean, just do your own research, obviously. If you market in and market out, which is what I do a lot, I just try to stay away from using high leverage. You can be a taker and pay the taker fees if you use low leverage. You can still make money using 5, 6x. You know what I mean? Leverage. You just need bigger moves, is all. The EMAs that I use are the 21. Here, I'll just show you right there. These three down here are simple moving averages, and these numbers usually will change. Like, usually I like to keep this one on the 30. I must have been testing a theory or looking at something else for somebody. But those are the first four are exponential moving averages, and then these bottom three are simple moving averages. And this is the one I use right there. EMA MA combo by Spectrolight, because it gives you 7, right? Instead of doing 7 moving averages, I can have 7 moving averages in one indicator. Because I know you gotta pay for the more expensive plans to have more than like 3 indicators on your chart or whatever, but it is what it is. USDT RUB on Binance. Gotcha. Still illiquid on that. The daily looks a little bit better. Yeah, it's trending to the upside. I wouldn't buy it. I mean, eventually it's going to slow down. You need to pull back to support. You're literally buying the highs up here. You're printing bearish divergence on the daily. Not on the weekly yet. You got bearish divergence on the daily and the 3-day. So I would assume that this thing's probably going to run out of steam pretty damn soon. In fact, I would say you're done. Yeah, I would say you're probably going to see a sell off pretty soon on this. I don't know how vicious it's going to be, but or when it's going to happen. But I don't know if I can trade this. But if I could, I would be looking for shorts pretty soon. And that's the price I would watch. Let me see if I can trade this. No, I cannot. Yeah, I can't trade it on Bitget. Can't trade it on Mini. I mean, this looks like it's an inverted chart more than likely. Just be careful. I shorted USDJPY. Yeah, we're having trouble with this thing, but it's starting to look better now. But I thought it was done those last week, and it wasn't. So I would love to see it make a lower low, man. Because I am holding shorts on this from up there. Like right in there is where my short position is, 151, 697. So I would love to see it continue lower. I don't care if it gets all the way down to 120. I'm holding it. Short it right back to where it came from as far as I'm concerned. All right, guys, we're going to have to wrap it up. I'm getting hungry. Let's see what we got. Talking about fees. All right, thanks, Johan, for being here, my friend. Talking about fees and the quick moves. I wonder how much spot trades with big money play a part as Binance has zero fees for BTC USD spot trades. I don't know. You could probably find out, Beardy. Oh, okay, I see. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm having difficulty finding it, so maybe it's just something I can't do because I'm in America. Can you look at my fun PLS USD Mexican on the yearly 3 month? Is it fair to say that people that devaluate my currency are buying dollars at these levels as a hedge? Let's go look at it. I haven't looked at USD Mexican in a while. It's just because, yeah, I mean, it's just because the dollar has been so strong. But the Mexican peso is stronger than the dollar, according to this chart. Yeah, USD is the quote currency, whereas peso is the base currency. So this means right now the peso is stronger than the dollar. It's when this goes up that the dollar is stronger. you yeah, it takes 18 pesos to equal $1. See, that to me, like, I guess you're right. It is being devalued, wouldn't it? No, be the other way around. If it was going up, because then it would take more. Yeah, so you're right. It is being devalued. Um, I don't know what's going on there. I know that they're talking about they're talking about trying to get the government to pass a bill right now to where the United States military can cross the border and take the fight to them cartels. And that's probably what's got this in an uproar, right? Because so much fentanyl is coming into the country, they're gonna classify the cartel leaders as quote unquote terrorists. Now this is just based on what I heard on FX, on CNBC and Fox Business. But fentanyl has killed a lot of people in this country, and the main country or the people responsible for it are the cartels. Even if that ain't the case, even if it ain't true, that's who they're blaming. So if they get their wish, then you're gonna see a lot of cartels. I mean, I know cartels are vicious, but they don't stand a chance against the U.S. military, dude. Not a chance. Like Navy SEALs will just paint these buildings with a little laser beam, and then here comes a guided missile. Boom. That drug lab is done, and anybody in it, right? Move on to the next one. That's how bad it's getting, where they're talking about taking military action. Whether that ever happens or not, obviously, is two different things, but just because they're talking about it could be the reason. And then, like I said, also, you have a really strong dollar right now. The dollar is up still. I mean, we haven't seen the dollar up at these levels in a long time. Right? There's your long term look on the DXY. So you reached levels that you haven't seen since 2001. Yeah, since 2001. But I mean, it's a problem. It's a problem, no doubt. Damn, I'm late today. Yeah, we're getting ready to wrap it up. Yep, no problem. Yeah, the uptick on the anti-cartel noise and also been pushed for Amero coming. Yeah, CAD peso. Yes. Yes. Yep. Yeah. I hope for the people of, I mean, we don't, Americans do not like any kind of war, right? I don't. I think it's stupid. I think we should stay out of other countries' affairs. We got our own problems. And, but that's just how it works, right? That's just how it works. But if enough people get on board with that, I mean, all it takes is for the president or Congress, and then boom. Next thing you know, they're not going to war with the government of Mexico. They're literally thinking or talking about labeling cartel leaders as terrorists. And if that happens, then that gives them the right to look at the cartel leaders and anybody that follows the cartels, like ISIS or the Taliban or Osama bin Laden. So, and like I said, man, if I was a cartel leader and I was hearing stuff like that, I would be like diversifying my portfolio quickly. You know what I'm saying? Just to hear them talk about it, because like, how are you gonna fight that? All they gotta do is put battleships on both sides of the country, and they got you. Checkmate, bro. You know what I'm saying? Checkmate. You got Navy SEALs on both sides of you, and you'll never see it coming. You'll be out there one day just walking around, and all of a sudden a missile. Boom. Hopefully nothing happens from it, but we'll see. All right, you guys have a fantastic day. Um, yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday. I guess make sure you guys trade safe for the rest of the week. We only got one more day of trading left, and then we get to start a whole new week. It's been a great week. We had some good trades this week inside the Trade Talk community. So next week, we'll look to do it again. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your time. Thank you so much for you new subscribers. Make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading.